You might have heard many industry professionals and even some so-called experts talking about supply chains and value chains as if they were the same. Some others know they are different, but when they have to explain why they are different, they get it all wrong. Keep watching, because in this video I will explain what a supply chain is, how does it compare to a value chain, and if you stay until the end, the embarrassing mistake most people make when explaining the difference between them. There are as many supply chain definitions as books written on the topic, but most of them describe, with different words, the same concept. A supply chain is a network of connected organizations associated with the flow of goods, money, and information required to fulfill a customer's order. A key feature a supply chain has, that is most important for the purpose of this video, is that there is no limit whatsoever on the quantity of organizations that can become involved in it. To fulfill an order for a cup of coffee, for example, many organizations have to do their job. Coffee growers, local warehouses where green beans are stored, the coffee processing plant where green beans are roasted and packed, packing materials suppliers, printers making product and shipping labels, shippers that will get the product distributed around the globe, international carriers, local distributors, local carriers, and of course, the coffee shop. And those are only some of the organizations involved in the flow of goods. Other organizations participate in the information and financial flows, like insurance companies held accountable for the risk of international and local logistics, technology companies ensuring the flow of data associated with purchase orders and inventory levels, and banks moving money from the point of sale to all parties involved. And the list goes on. Also, there is no restriction at all preventing one organization from participating in multiple supply chains. International carriers, for example, will transport diverse goods from diverse supply chains. Besides coffee and other food products, they participate in supply chains that require moving furniture, apparel, and maybe automobiles. This figure represents a typical supply chain of a manufacturing industry. But keep in mind that products supply chains are not the only kind. The hotel industry and other service industries also have their particular supply chains. But the question remains, are supply chains and value chains the same? Let's dig into value chain territory now. In 1985, Michael Porter published the book Competitive Advantage, one of the most influential business and management books of all time. The book introduced a concept that was groundbreaking back then: the value chain. Porter defined a value chain as a set of activities that a firm operating in a specific industry performs in order to deliver a valuable product or service to the market. The value chain comprises two kinds of activities: primary activities and support activities. These activities are performed by one firm within the boundaries of a single organization. So, just by identifying the amount of organizations involved in them, the difference between a supply chain and a value chain is rather obvious, don't you think? A supply chain comprises many organizations, while a value chain exists within one. Now, let's go a little further. If you keep reading Porter's book, you will find another term that can be used to describe a supply chain: the value network. Porter defined a value network as a web of relationships that generates economic value and other benefits through complex, dynamic exchanges between two or more individuals, groups, or organizations. In other words, a value network is a network of multiple value chains teaming up to generate value and benefits. So we now know the terms value chain and supply chain are not equivalent. But if you think it through, a value network and a supply chain might as well be. Now, before explaining the mistake most people make when comparing supply chains and value chains, I have to tell you that the best way to expand your knowledge and be recognized as a supply chain expert is to get formal supply chain training and become certified. If you are starting your career, you can become a Certified Supply Chain Analyst or CSCA. And if you already have supply chain experience, the Certified Supply Chain Manager or CSCM program will give you access to leadership positions. You can find more information at isca.org and online on-demand courses at iscaonline.com. So, back to the topic. What is the embarrassing mistake most people make when trying to explain the difference between the term supply chain and the terms with the word value in them, like value chain and value network? Many people assume that because the word value is not present in the term supply chain, supply chains are not capable of providing any value to the stakeholders involved. And that is a terrible and almost absurd assumption. Just think about it. If a supply chain fails to provide value to end customers through products and services, would customers pay for them? And if customers don't pay, would the stakeholders involved be able to stay in business? There is only one revenue source in a supply chain, the end customer. Failing to provide value to end customers would result in no sales. And without any sales, there is no money to pay all organizations contributing to fulfill customers' orders. In real-world supply chains, all parties involved perceive value and remain motivated to do their job because they get paid. And they get paid because the end customer perceives value in the product or service and pays for it. So every supply chain must be able to provide value in order to exist. Even non-profit supply chains must provide value of some sort to justify their existence. Maybe political value in the case of the military, or humanitarian value in the case of international aid. So, if you thought only value chains and value networks were capable of creating and delivering value, think again. Thank you very much for staying with me until the end of the video. Please watch more ISCA content and don't forget to like and subscribe.